organs, that'll be another whole organ, mind that condense and become an organ to play out its own this subjectivity in any manner. So it's up to us to bring God on earth, heaven on earth. That's allowing each organ, each mind that condense and become an organ to play out its own fluid, its own organ, its own music and things. But coming up with ways of how that could be in union is basically what it is. So it'll be like all of us together make one organ with all of our subjective organs. Then if we know how to make another beautiful organ with our subjective organs, that'll be another whole organ that we could all be in. Now we can make a beautiful organ better than the previous organ, right? Then for the most part, we will all have a subjective form with that organ and that new one organ. So it ain't never us seeing God, or it ain't never God being in the world. It's like a teamwork makes the dream work type thing. And if we can build God, God would appreciate it, because God could be an actual living being and we will be inside it, living through it. Now, here's the thing. Now, we can drift off into my train of thought and my line of reasoning that I don't think we'll ever get to. There is a concept that we can form a world outside of the one being, right? But that takes some deep spiritual shit, and everybody got to become a holy one at that point. There ain't no way. That's a long, long time to create anything that y'all creating with y'all micro version and implosion ways that y'all think y'all doing down here. That still got to be a teamwork makes the dream work type thing.
But that's what I say. If people don't understand, it's almost like you got beings. I feel like as far as behind the scenes, the setup with shadows, all that shit like that. They low key purposely be keeping people from being more consciously aware or from being more spirit. Like people, like, don't get it twisted, because I do be feeling like, oh, okay, to some extent we do be lost into our own nature, so shit can only go so far anyway. But at the same time, it's like I feel like you kind of got beings that purposely try to keep us from reaching certain levels, because it's like, how the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like they
Like
purposely indoctrinate us.
what it is our nature become a being. So your character become your circumstance and situation. All of our natures together become that being. So let's say if we all work together, all ethnicities, and men and women fuck the right way, do it the way I'm talking about, being the holy one, we will have this concept where we all got a job, no matter if we know each other or not, because there will be some atmosphere in the world knowing that we're all supposed to be built in this specific organ, and then we all know the original goal. We could wake this being up to open his eyes, and we know awareness is what's creating. So when this thing become aware for the first time, that's the first instances of the accumulation snowball effect of the world outside of this thing being created. Then it could be something that we could all have our own universe, because then we could be born out of that thing through forms of awarenesses that we figured out how to create in a physical way that'll be metaphysical to this being, that we all have our own universe, and all of us having our own universe will be each layer building block to the reality of this one being that we'll bring into reality, and it'll probably be a giant over all of us in physical form, that us be every piece in the atmosphere, a spirit inside of each body in the atmosphere, play up the whole reality of this being. Now it could be like that too. We create a whole big old golem too.
That's deep, and speaking of that shit, because I had seen some shit where they were talking about the Pope, something about the Pope. This is some shit I heard, so I ain't saying this necessarily true, but they was talking about something about like the Pope basically, purposely gonna get exalted, or in their mind they feel like they're exalting the Pope to get born out in some other realm, or to get born out as a higher being, or some shit like
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's the old classic argument us natives used to have with the Mormons. So the Pope might
Yeah.
be trying to do some Mormonism type shit. He might not be a Mormon, but he might think he's going to a celestial, or he might think it's a synthetic thing of what they played as sarcasm, or what they claiming they took to the Indians. And see, we got a lot of people now in government that actually believe it. See, they're going to hell. That's actually what hell is, like organ implosion. You're getting ready to create a concept in your mind that look like Earth, and you ain't creating the Earth. So you about to create a made up thing in your mind and make it real, because you creating with your mind, and make something that don't exists for you to float around in non-existence but exist. So you be in your own world, your own mind, floating around in other people's heads and just in the world and shit like that, fucked up, trying to escape, trying to die from that, to be born again, so you don't do that again. Because to be born again, you're extending the environment with your body.
Wait, so